Monarchy, the royal family at work on CBC.
Gosh, it must be 8-9 years now since I've been here.
Pearl Mitchell from Northern Ireland and her partner Jerry have come to London to see the Queen. Pearl has an invitation to a royal garden party in recognition of her local charity work.
Imagine not taking a taxi from the tube station.
5 minutes walk.
You are so tight.
A royal invitation is a good excuse for a new outfit. Pearl has spent more than £200 on her hat alone.
I had trouble with a hat, but I did eventually find what I feel is the perfect hat for this outfit. I'll put it with the outfit for you so you can see what I mean. I think it's amazing with the...
Well, the hat's lovely and there's enough room under for two of us. It's like a parasol. So.
Devil. He's a devil. Yes, well, anyway. So I've told my daughter if she ever gets married that this is a hat I'm going to wear. I don't think I'd ever buy another hat quite like this one again.
Right, so first is which way round does it go?
There's a new hat too for Anne Green from Staffordshire. She's also on her way to the palace.
It's not really her.
I think she looks great. Yeah, really good.
Thank you. Good. Well, it's just as well, because this is what I'm wearing.
Both Anne and her colleague, Margaret Revy, have been invited to the garden party because of their work for the Chartered Society of Physiotherapy. Margaret, too, is making an extra effort. She's treated herself to a morning at one of London's beauty salons.
I wouldn't say I'm a card-carrying, flag-waving monarchist, but I have a great deal of respect for the Queen. I think through her whole life she has lived with integrity.
Only a few guests will get to talk to the Queen.
I didn't in my wildest dreams imagine that she would speak to me. But that would be the icing on the cake.
In a basement at Buckingham Palace, a team has been working for months on invitations for the annual summer garden parties, a palace tradition since the 1860s. Every year, the Queen hosts at least 4 of these, 3 in London and 1 in Scotland. Up to 40,000 people from all walks of life are invited.
Well, we are the garden party ladies. I'm supposed to be in charge. And it's my job to just really try and keep the whole thing moving. We've got Mary here who's actually writing the invitations from a list. So she's doing that. Over here, this is be a different list. I think it's the local government list. Down at the end, the very end, Fiona and Jane, they're packing the envelopes with security notices, parking permits and the like. And Regina is, I think she's just writing some invitations at the moment.
Every invitation is handwritten.
And one's very aware when you're writing it that somebody might want to keep it, and therefore, you know, you don't want to send out one that doesn't look quite perfect. So, no, I think people must be thrilled, and I think they're fairly... I mean, it must be lovely to get one through the post, I would imagine.
The Lord Chamberlain is commanded, it's not just asked, is commanded by Her Majesty to invite Mrs. Anne Green to a garden party at Buckingham Palace.
They're not terribly famous people. This is really a thank you to other people who sort of do much more unsung work, if you like. It's rather nice that people who have done 35 years of school dinners or lollipop ladies, you know, do actually eventually get somebody say, oh, you know, why not send them along?
Today's garden party is taking place in a sweltering 90 degrees, and nearly 8,000 members of the public have been invited. Before it starts, the Queen meets a team from St John Ambulance who will be on duty.
So have you done garden parties before? I think last week there were 37 casualties or something.
Yes, 37. 37.
You may be busy.
37 treatment, shall we say, as opposed to casualties.
But people come so unsuitably dressed, that's the other thing. They're probably frizzled by the time they get. But one gets to know what sort of people need, don't you? I noticed that the last twice they've all gone that side to sit in the shade.
Yes, yes indeed, yes.
And the lawns have been rather empty.
So they're more and more at the front gate now, isn't it?
Yes,
Since when it's hot, they begin to have trouble there.
Yes, they come too early, don't they? And then they arrive boiling hot and exhausted.
Yes. And the new shoes, of course.
Well, that's another hazard.
Pearl and Jerry have arrived at the palace early to make the most of every minute. So has everyone else.
There you go. There's a queue. I can see people right round the far side where the gate is. A good half hour before you get in.
Yeah, it'll be about half an hour before we get in.
With 8,000 guests, the outside caterers have brought more than 200 staff, including 30 chefs. Half a ton of sandwiches will be consumed, along with 8,000 glasses of juice and 11,000 cups of the Queen's special blend of garden party tea.
And Tom, man, you met the other day?
Yes, we have. Yes.
I think people are very glad to get in here.
Yes, I think so.
So that makes it a bit difficult working, doesn't it?
A little bit, a little bit.
I mean, they all come in at once. They do. They rush in.
The tea tent houses what is at 400 feet, probably the longest counter in Britain.
Well, I've done a good deal of asking what the tea is like, and I get very positive answers, so that's nice.
Would you like a cup of tea,
No, not at the moment. I've just had lunch.
Nearby at St James's Palace, the yeomen of the guard are preparing for duties. Arguably the oldest military corps in the world, they've been protecting monarchs since Henry VII. Their Tudor uniform has hardly changed since.
We're not beefeaters at all. We're far from being beefeaters. Because beefeaters are wardens at the Tower of London, and we're bodyguards.
At garden parties, they make sure that the Queen is not crowded by her guests.
All right, gentlemen, pay attention.
In charge is Messenger Sergeant Major Bill Davies, and he is not a happy man.
Our last garden party, we were let down, inasmuch that there were very attractive ladies present. So consequently, you started staring, leering, ogling, and you lost your concentration while we were on parade. So should there be any attractive ladies here today, yes, by all means have a look, but do not turn your heads and concentrate on what we're doing. All right?
During her reign, the Queen has had 2 million people to tea. Like so many before them, Anne and Margaret want to see inside the palace.
I kind of thought we'd go straight into the garden, not through into the building.
Oh, this is, yeah.
Which do you think is her bedroom? Remember the guy who climbed into her bedroom? How would he have known which one to get into?
Yeah. I don't know. This is like, oh wow.
The staircase, you think you'll sort of drift down in your ball gown.
Fantasy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. No, this is definitely what I expect.
Let's go on the ground.
Here we are, invited guests of the Queen, walking out the door. And isn't this beefeaters too? Isn't this amazing? Beefeaters.
A great spot for barbecue.
Oh, Anne.
Yeah.
I don't think we can turn around because they'll fall over, does he?
No, I won't fall over. No, I just want to take it in. You know, I'm not likely to maybe come again. Beautiful.
After choosing her outfit with such care, Pearl is faced with every woman's fashion nightmare.
Lady in the same dress. Yes, she is in the same dress. I can't believe it. I cannot believe that. Well, that makes for a little bit of interesting, doesn't it? I'm glad she's not tall and willowy.
The Queen will be here on the stroke of 4 o'clock. The yeomen take up their positions.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, back behind the line of yeomen, please. Right the way back. Her Majesty's going to go down through there.
Their task today is to mark out routes through the crowd that will allow the Queen and other members of the royal family to stroll and chat with selected guests.
If you'd like to get a good spot now, rather than me throw you off.
The hot weather brings a lot of distractions for the yeomen. They do their best to obey the command, not to lose focus.
Hello,
Tina,
nice to meet you.
the north of England.
Senior gentleman usher, Rear Admiral Colin Cook-Priest, is selecting 100 guests or so for an introduction to the Queen.
And we basically move down the lanes and try and find interesting people to introduce to Her Majesty. By and large, we look for those who've contributed to society, but who perhaps have never had an opportunity to meet the Queen.
You're watching Monarchy, the royal family at work on CBC.